Hello YouTube, it is Monday night and we're going to try and play a little bit of Phantasy Star Online. So I apologize for the big long delay. You may be aware there's some things going on in the house right now, so it's a little bit busier than I anticipated. And yeah, I just haven't really had a lot of opportunities to engage in a stream lately, but I also have been really busy with some other projects as well, including this one right here, which I'd really like to show off because I'm finally complete. I did a lot more to it than I thought I was originally going to do at first. Originally, my plan was to just upgrade the LCD, but ultimately I decided to upgrade the LCD. I decided to change out all of the caps because eventually those are going to fail and cause you problems. So I went to Dragon Box. It's a company out of the UK that does a lot of really cool modding, or supplies a lot of cool modding utilities and hardware and things like that. So I ended up getting an aluminum cap kit for it. I also ended up getting a new voltage regulator. Didn't get that from Dragon Box because the version that they had, according to the forums, wasn't the version you want to go with. You basically want to replace your existing voltage regulator. And the reason behind that is because apparently the one that most people were using from Dragon Box, it's got a continuous cycle on the battery. So even if your battery's off, it's still draining power from it. So your batteries will die quicker. So I ended up getting that kit from Console 5, installed that, also replaced a couple of transistors and a couple of diodes, and it basically completely refurbished. Also, the only thing I haven't done to it yet is replace the speaker, but I don't necessarily think I have to. So yeah, it came together really well. As most of you know, I'm kind of a big fan of this little console, the Lynx. There's a lot of really cool arcade pick up and play games for it, and also in the homebrew community, they've really been doing a lot of work with getting save features associated with the newer carts. So there's a new RPG out called Wyvern Tale. Now I'm on the wait list for that, but it was released, I think they announced it in 2016, and people only now have started to get their carts. So I'm on the wait list for the next batch, but from what I've heard, it's a really, really great RPG for the Lynx. But what does it look like? So anyways, let's just turn it on real quick. Hopefully I can get a good angle. So when you power on, I've got Toki in there, and hopefully I can get an angle that you can see. There we go, where it's not too bright. There you go. Yeah, really, really sharp screen. Looks really, really good. Much better than the stock screen. So we'll just turn that off really quick. And what you do is you can also hit the backlight button. It bypasses it and it gives you actual scan lines. Hopefully I can get that in the screen as well. It might be a little bit too bright for my camera's liking. Let's just go real close and pull back, and hopefully we can get you to see that a little bit better. There we go. That's a bit better. Not great, but a bit better. But let's turn it off and I'll show you how easy the VGA works. So on the top here, I replaced the original backlight contrast brightness dial with a VGA port. And you know, like all McWill stuff, that stuff is built right into the board, so it's really easy to do. I'd say it's probably a good idea to do it if you're installing the VGA or installing the McWill board, just because you really don't want to take this apart again once you've got it all together. So let's just really quickly plug this in like so. That looks pretty nice, and let's go to the main gaming screen here and let's just power it on. So we'll power on, and as soon as it starts up, I'm going to switch it over. Here we go. And there we go. We've got Toki. So it's a really cool, I really enjoy this game actually. It's a little bit slow because I think it uses quite a bit of resources from the Atari Lynx, but it's actually a really fun platformer. And I've noticed a big difference since I've replaced the screen. If you just hold down backlight again, you can go, you see how the scan lines were on there originally? You can take those off just by holding down backlight again. I actually kind of prefer this view. So yeah, with Toki, I found it really difficult to play on the original screen because it was so washed out that you couldn't see a lot of the smaller projectiles. But this new screen, it just completely changes the game. And actually for quite a few games, I've been playing another game which not a lot of people have heard of, or maybe not a lot of people have thought about exploring, but it's a really good game called Dracula. And what it is it's basically a sort of similar to how the Japanese Sega Dreamcast had a lot of those visual novels. It's very similar to a visual novel, almost identical actually. It's actually, the introduction is by Bram Stoker himself. And it's a really, really difficult puzzle game. In fact, I almost immediately went to the cheats online and to a couple of walkthroughs and stuff like that. Like, it was kind of pointless trying to figure out a lot of these things because the actual patterns that you have to go through to complete the game are so convoluted, and there's no way you would find them unless you invested basically your entire life into it. Oh shit, died. Oh, there you go. Didn't jump down far enough. Trying to figure it out. Like, I mean, there's some people like unlike a lot of stuff like Maniac Mansion and games like that, like I find those puzzles, yes, they're difficult, but they're to some degree intuitive. Like they make a bit more sense. And I found the puzzles in Dracula, they just didn't really make a lot of sense. There was no clues telling you to go anywhere. You just sort of trial and errored your way through it. But that said, it's a really cool game. The animations are really, really slick. It looks really nice. It's kind of got a, you know, it only really utilizes 3 colors, but the colors that it does use, whoa, look really sharp and really vibrant. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that game, even though it's a little, oh, come on. Even though it's a little bit annoying at times. So anyways, that's Toki. Really cool game. Let's just power down here and plug everything back in. But it's just one of many Lynx games that I play and I enjoy quite thoroughly. So let's just put this back together. And let's fire up the old Dreamcast and see who we can find. So I did put a shout out on the Facebook group. It looks like there's quite a few people that are thinking about getting online a little bit. There's one guy in particular that just started to get his DreamPi set up, and it looks like he's playing already. So maybe we'll hook up with him. I think it's a bit of a lower level, but we'll see what happens. So firstly, I am going to try and connect the, I'm going to try and use the disk switch swap option. So go back here and whoops, let's go back up. Sorry, clicked on the wrong thing. Let's go to Phantasy Star Online. There we go. And let's swap this for did I put the patcher in there? Yes, I did. Okay, cool. For the patcher. And load the CDI. Okay, here's the wishful thinking. Hopefully it works without crashing. Do you guys remember the last time we started to play? You know, in trial, when I tried it out at first, it worked flawlessly. And then, for whatever reason, as soon as you logged into a ship, everything went to hell. So, okay, good enough. Please insert GD-ROM. So we're going to open it up all the way and close it. And disk is being read. Load with all the patches. And here we go. Okay, Jobel, how many games do I own now? Well, I think I have 28. No homebrews, although I did order Double Dragon from Telegames UK, which is the original company that released Double Dragon for the Lynx. And they have continued to release it. So I don't even consider that really a bootleg or a reissue. It's just basically they just issued it. So yeah, okay, I guess maybe a reissue, but it's definitely not, you know, it's not a bootleg card. It comes with a full box and manual and everything. It looks really, really great. It was a bit more than I probably would have liked to spend on a single game, but Double Dragon is probably one of the more expensive games to get on the Lynx currently. And it looks really, really good as well. Now there is a flash card for the Lynx. You can get it through Atari Age, but I haven't got around to that yet. I probably will eventually. It's actually not terribly expensive, but basically as soon as I knock down Battlezone 2000 for the Lynx, that'll be it for all of the really expensive games. So All right, let's select a ship. What kind of patches do we got? And let's try the battle music patch. Why not? Okay, so select a ship. How many people are on Altamira? Vega, Isilia, and Palmcosta. Palmcosta, I don't think I've really ever seen anybody in. And it looks like there's 2 people in Altamira, so let's just try that out. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't crash. And so far so good. Looks like we are in with no issues. Now this person here, are they bursting? I'm not 100% sure. And Jaxer's online. Awesome. Hey, there you go. What time is it here? It is 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Canada time, Eastern Standard Time. Haha. Yeah, I think there is new blood joining soon. So hopefully they level up quick and we can get another alt player. Okay, cool. So Jaxer's on. Jaxer's always fun to play with. Who else do we got? We had that other person. Where did they go? I think they either went into game or they have logged off. Okay. Okay. Should we start a quest? Cool, and Jobel's on as well. Nice. Yeah, I think that was a GameCube player just because of the way they are sort of stuttering. Okay, cool. All right, so. Okay. Let's get a game going. And let's level up Jobel for sure. Okay. Yeah, let's do hard and get Jobel some XP. All right, right on. Okay, so organize team, create team, PSO version 2, and UGB. Difficulty hard. And register, no password. Tip if you're just joining in, and you plan on playing Phantasy Star Online, whether it's PC, Dreamcast, GameCube, I guess, although it doesn't really affect me much. When you start a team, please, 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 please don't password protect your game. It will make it incredibly difficult for people to join. I've seen quite a few people password protect their games where they're the only player on it. I'm not sure it's just because they're using that space as a parking lot and hopefully people like they've connected with outside of the game know that they should join in. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, it makes it really, it's kind of annoying for other players that might want to jump in, and I think maybe some newer players are more prone to that. Actually, mid-tier players probably don't do it. New players probably do it because they're so used to password protecting games. Older players that have very specific people that they like to play with probably want to protect their games as well, just because they don't want noobs that they don't like joining in. Okay, and we are good. Bum, bum, bum. So yesterday was the 19th anniversary, 19th birthday, I should say, of the good old Dreamcast. 9999. So we're quickly approaching on 20 years of Dreamcast. Shockingly enough, I can't believe this console is 20 years old. I distinctly remember when I was in college seeing commercials that came and went for it, and you know, being like, I don't know, a lot of those consoles that were being released around that time, like I mentioned before, I didn't really pay much attention to, but I was aware of the system existing. I'm certainly not one of those people that were early adopters and have been playing the system and all the games for the last 20 years. As most of you know, I'm relatively new, probably about 3 or 4 years into the console, but it's great. It's very rare that something will hook me as much as this console did, particularly this game. I didn't anticipate playing as much of it as I have. It was probably the first game that I burned a CDR once I got my system, just to fire it up to see if it worked. Oh cool, Necro's joining in. We haven't seen Necro in ages. Nice. We haven't seen you in ages. The Necro did mention that they were getting on in one of the comments from a previous video, so that's great. Cool. All right, we got a full team. So Jackson and I will do our best to support these guys and get them as much XP as possible, but the good news is with very hard, you know, normal is way too easy. Hard, even though I anticipate we'll just blow right through it, at least it you know, gives us a bit of an opportunity to get, you know, maybe an occasional, like, I don't know, piece of tech that we can use. Probably no weapons or anything like that, but you know, we might be able to get some stat multipliers or something to that effect. Okay, cool. So should we do a quick run towards the future to XP everyone up? I can't remember if it'll crash or not. Okay, so I think we're generally pretty good with this crew. We should be all right. As y'all know, we've been having a lot of difficulty lately. Okay. Yeah, plus is pretty buggy. It would be better in Vega. Yeah, for TFF. Yeah, that's true. Okay. So let's... Did you guys want to skip ships? So I guess we could do that if people want to go to Vega and do towards the future plus. Or is that too risky on DreamPi? I'm truly good either way. How about you, Jaxer? Okay, let's just make sure everybody else is good. I'm on BBA. Okay, so everybody... Alright, we should be fine. Alright, let's ditch. Yeah. Just type /save and then the number of your VMU port. If it's a single VMU, just type save one /save and then one. Okay, it's not letting me do it. Save. Okay, it's not letting me do this at all. All right, if you're watching the stream, just hit save one /save one. Okay, back to the lobby. Let's skip ships, transport, change ships, and Vega block 1. Sweet. All right, what do we got going on in the chat here? Let's just organize a team, create team, PSO version 2, UGB, normal, and hard, and register. Okay, we got a whole lot of everybody in the chat. That's great. Do. Okay, hey Jimmy. Yeah, it's save /save1. You got it. So here in Toronto, speaking of towards the future, I always want to instinctively write TIFF, T-I-F-F, because it's currently TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, here in Toronto. And, you know, there was a time when I really enjoyed going to some of the TIFF screenings, particularly the After Dark screenings, but on top of just not having the energy to do that anymore, where you watch a movie that starts at midnight, the reality is that there's not a lot of independent stuff that gets released in the film festival anymore. A lot of the times it's basically just a film that will go to a major release, get a major theatrical release at some point, but you get the opportunity to preview it before everybody else does. So the only movie that I really was interested in was The Predator. The trailers made that movie look like garbage, but I had a lot of faith in Shane Black to make it look I really had a lot of faith in Shane Black writing a really strong movie. So I actually helped somebody that I know build a prop for the screening, and I was going to go to the screening for free, but just ran out of energy. And then I heard the reviews, and the reviews are basically that it's essentially, I'm glad I didn't go. It's not very good, which is really unfortunate because the first movie, I couldn't tell you how many times I watched that as a kid. I had it on VHS. I remember I got the VHS for Christmas from my parents, and I probably watched that movie like 200 times on VHS. That and Terminator 2, those are my big movies back in the day. Anyways, here we go. Okay, VR. And towards the future, there we go. And you know, since it's been re-released on Blu-ray and stuff like that, I've also watched it in that format. Even Predator 2, to some degree, is a pretty good movie. I enjoy that one immensely as well. Then the Alien versus Predator movies that came out, those are both garbage. Part 2 is better than Part 1 for sure, but Part 2 is pretty much unwatchable for many reasons. Like it's one of those, it was one of the first movies that I can remember seeing that had that digital blood look. And also it was just shot really dark. It's a really heavy contrast on it, and it's really hard to see anything that make it, so it really makes it kind of an unenjoyable movie to watch. Predators, which was another sort of soft reboot of the franchise. That movie's fantastic. I love Predators. I got no issues with that. Seen it a few times since it's been released. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen Predators, I suggest watching Predators. I suggest watching the first Predator and Predators plural. Both those movies are definitely worth checking out. And then The Predator, which from what I understand from the reviews of the people that I trust immensely that saw it at the Toronto International Film Festival, they all tell me the same thing. It's just too many jokes. It doesn't take itself serious enough, which is fine. I don't mind those types of movies, but I don't know. There's something about The Predator, particularly with Predator 1. Like, Predator 1 probably isn't the most serious of movies, but there's something about that sort of 80s machismo type film that, you know, the jokes are in the movie. It's because the movie exists itself almost, like the movie is the joke. But yeah, when you just sort of take the characters and I guess write the characters, which are the Predator, I shouldn't say out of character, but I don't know, just add too much levity to it. It really kind of takes away from the experience. You really kind of want to be frightened of the Predator. You want to know that it's superior to people in every way, and that you know, death is imminent. But I can appreciate the fact that this is also the guy that wrote Lethal Weapon, and what else does he write? I think he wrote like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and a lot of other very popular heavy dialogue heavy films. And you know, I guess it's only natural that he does the same thing with the Predator. But Suffice to say, I'm told I will be disappointed if I end up watching it, so I do not plan on catching it in theaters, although I'll most likely watch it when it gets released on Netflix, probably in the next 2 months. Okay, let's feed our mag before we get any further. Okay, give item. Speaking of Netflix, I just noticed that Netflix Canada has added a couple of new Marvel movies. And from what I understand, Marvel's going to be pulling a lot of their catalog and a lot of their Disney movies, actually, as most of you know that Disney owns Marvel, from Netflix because they're going to be offering their own streaming service. How much that costs is yet to be announced, but if it's a decent price, I would certainly subscribe to a streaming service from Disney. They've got a lot of good properties, and obviously, you know, now they own even more. But there's a good chance that they're going to pull a lot of their Marvel-related stuff from Netflix. So it'd be interesting to see if they end up pulling some of the original content, like The Punisher and Daredevil and things of that nature. It'd be a shame unless they buy them out for whatever reason. But the other thing that's probably going to happen, and I've discussed this with a number of people, is that, you know, they got to give people a reason to subscribe to the Disney Channel. They got to give people a reason to subscribe to yet another television subscription a la carte service. And I was wondering how they could do that, and speaking with other people, it kind of seemed pretty obvious. So, as most of you know, when Disney Marvel ended up getting the rights back for Spider-Man from Fox, they ended up basically scrapping the original, the two films, The Amazing Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. There's obviously going to be a sequel, but that's not going to happen anymore. And they started from scratch with the new Spider-Man, the Tom Holland guy. And that's good. Spider-Man Homecoming was amazing. But they just completely disposed of that would-be trilogy. It's done. It's never going to happen. They left it on a cliffhanger, and people are just going to have to be satisfied with that. Even though the cliffhanger, I felt, was a little bit, I don't know, it wasn't that great anyway. It didn't really do much for me. But it does mean that Disney and Marvel, you know, they definitely have the confidence in their properties enough to, you know, they are willing to completely scrap an established property, established crew and cast and stuff like that, in light of their own sort of grander vision. And then, you know, it worked out really well for Spider-Man. The Tom Holland Spider-Man is fantastic. I hear some people kind of dismiss the old Raimi ones, but I watched those in theaters, and those are great. They're still enjoyable to some degree now. Like, yeah, they are a bit cheesy, but hey, what are you going to do, right? Like, I mean, they are what they are. So the thing that I was thinking about recently is the, you know, if they get the, you know, they're probably going to try and write Fantastic Four into the greater Marvel universe at some point, which is fine. But also I imagine the X-Men. So what are they going to do with the existing X-Men? Now, for the most part, I like the new X-Men. They're not perfect, but I do enjoy... I enjoy Michael Fassbender as Magneto, and what's that actor's name who plays Xavier? Those guys are great. Some of the side characters, you know, the kid who plays Beast, he's pretty cool too. He does a good job, so I'm fine with that. I could do without Jennifer Lawrence and Mystique, and for no other reason than, you know, Jennifer Lawrence doesn't do a whole lot for me. She's you know, she's a fine actress and stuff like that, but she's just, you know, I finally try to write the scripts around her and not write it around the characters, which just kind of takes me out of the film a bit. But in the last one, which wasn't that great, they introduced the whole Jean Grey character, and she was a bit dull. She's that girl from Game of Thrones. I don't find her to be a fantastic actress at all. And in the next film, the fourth film in the new X-Men film franchise, is going to be the Dark Phoenix saga. So that is basically in the can, good to go. The question is now, is Disney going to release it? Are they going to put it out, even though they're probably going to do their own thing with the X-Men universe? or are they just going to shelve it and never, you know, just don't even acknowledge it exists? It would be, there's no reason that you couldn't have those two properties existing at the same time. Everybody's aware of it, you know, the internet does exist. People are very familiar with how the property was acquired and some of the consequences around it. That's really no surprise. And there's a lot of people that really enjoy those franchises as well, or those films as well, which is great. They're pretty good. They're pretty good movies for the most part. Even X-Men Apocalypse I enjoyed to some degree. It wasn't fantastic, but much better than X-Men The Last Stand. So you've got Disney that owns... Dude, you took my staff. Who? Did I take a staff? Let's just take a look here. You've got Disney that owns Fox now, owns the rights to the X-Men character. You've also got Disney that's starting their own streaming service. So rather than scrap it, just don't bother theatrically releasing it. Have it as an exclusive to the new Disney Channel. Just have it so you have to subscribe to the new Disney streaming service in order to get access to this new film. I think that's the way to go. That way people can experience it. It'll give people a reason to subscribe, unless they're, you know, they needed a reason to subscribe. And, you know, people will be able to see it and they can just sort of put a cap on it. Like, here you go. Here is your exclusive film. Enjoy. Goodbye. There's also that New Mutants movie, too, that they put a trailer out for, which I'm actually shocked is going to be a theatrical release. I thought it was a trailer for a new television show, but apparently it's a theatrical film. So there's nothing, I guess, stopping them from doing the same thing, making both of those movies Disney Channel streaming service exclusives, and not releasing them theatrically. I think that's probably the best bet. And I would definitely order a subscription to the Disney subscription service. You know, there's a lot of good movies. There's actually a lot of good movies that don't get enough attention. Like Disney did dabble in horror for a little bit, and they did some good sci-fi, like The Black Hole, which is a Disney product. That's a pretty good movie. It's not without its faults, but you know, it's enjoyable. I definitely enjoyed that movie back in the day. I own it on DVD. I haven't upgraded it to Blu-ray. But another movie that they released that they haven't really done a lot with, which I really wish they would, is Something That Wicked This Way Comes. I think it's one of the only pure Disney horror films. It's PG-13. Not R, but it's got some really, really creepy effects. And it's about this carnival that comes to this town, and you know, basically bad things happen when it arrives in town. So it's all about sort of like these kids discovering that this carnival is causing all these problems, and, you know, try to uncover what's going on. And there's a really kind of grotesque scene near the end of the film where an older actor, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he essentially, all of the life gets sucked out of him, and he dries up and turns into this shriveled husk. And it's pretty cool. It's a really nice effect. You know, those old practical effects, especially the Disney ones, those look fantastic. But yeah, I've never really seen it released in a big way. I think you can get it on DVD. I don't think you can get it on Blu-ray, if I remember correctly. And I have to look it up, but I'm not sure if Return to Oz is another Disney property or if that's somebody else. But Return to Oz is another fantastic film if you haven't seen that before. Okay, while we're waiting around for these guys to hack and slash for a little bit of XP, boom, let's just take them out. I'm going to see what is going on in the chat. So, what do we got here? People born on 9909 are now 9. This is true. I love Spooderman. Yeah, that sounds like some sort of like Dollarama knockoff toy. I remember I used to have a toy I used to live with these guys when I was in college, back when I was like 19, 20, and we went to the Dollarama store, and he ended up buying, just for giggles, a Spader-Man toy, S-P-A-D-E-R man. Obviously a knockoff of Spider-Man, and you know, for what it was fine. It basically was Spider-Man. If you took it out of the box, you wouldn't know any better. But, you know, they called it Spader-Man. Okay, dun, dun, dun. Let's just tag these guys, get them out of the way. They are very annoying to beat. Boom, let's take them out. And boom, let's take them out. And let's get the last guy out as well. And wow, you ever notice that slowdown even with the BBA and running it off of the thumbstick? Now this is probably due to the fact that I'm not using the Eves patcher, so it's not as streamlined. I'm just using the regular version of PSO version 2 and using the regular patcher. But the Eves version has a few different augmentations from what I understand of the code, just to make it run a little bit faster. I'm very tempted to break out the old disc, run it on my second Dreamcast, my untouched, unscathed Dreamcast, and just see how slow that game actually is. It's been a while since I've played a game on disc for the Dreamcast. I'll forget how loud it is and how slow and choppy some of the games are. You definitely notice a lot of, like, I don't know if it would be frame drops is the right word, but once you go sort of the hard drive route or the GDEMU or USB GD-ROM route, it's really difficult to go back. Although, you know, nowadays I guess you really don't have much of an option with the whole ROM-pocalypse that happened recently. There was an article that I saw in one of the forums that I belong to that says that they do still provide links to some of the EMU Paradise ROM links, but I guess you gotta install a special piece of software to one of your browsers, or an app I should say, not a browser. So I'll probably try that at some point. I mean, really no rush. I've pretty much got all the games I want. I've got complete sets of most games as well, so no big rush to run out there and download more stuff. There's a couple of PS2 titles I'd like to get again, but that's about it. And I was thinking about getting a Wii and running a homebrew channel and maybe downloading some GameCube titles that I was interested in and try to run those off the Wii, but haven't quite got there. I'm really holding out for this year, for around Christmas, for the announcement that there will be an SNES, or sorry, not an SNES, but an N64 Mini coming out. No official announcement has been made, but you know, it seems like the logical step. It's one of the few consoles where the emulation is just not there. It's absolutely terrible to emulate the N64, and even with, you know, it's just basically the emulator. It's just it can't handle it for whatever reason. You know, on PCs, I think if people turn down the resolution, it runs fine, but you know, it's never really been that great to emulate. So it'd be nice to get, you know, I'd be fine with a N64, an N64 sort of all-in-one system that I could get the ROMs from and just throw them on, kind of like people have been doing with the SNES Mini and the NES Mini. But again, we'll see what happens. No official announcement has been made, but from what I understand, it's the next thing happening. Okay, off to the mines. Level 3 start. Okay, let's wait for all our friends to jump back in. 1, 2, and... Sorry guys, give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. We're all on... Oh, don't want to kill these guys yet. Want everybody to have a chance to tag. Jobel's got a level. Necro's got 2 levels. So let's just hope that they tag everything. And then we will take out the rest. So the purpose of this game is primarily going to be building our mag up and doing our best to support via a distance. Now, ideally this is how droids would work. They would just sit back and just tag. You know, you get a really powerful droid on your team. That's what they would do, but I just don't use my character well enough. Even though I got some really solid advice from a couple of people, especially X-Band, to use the normal version and skip Eves because the normal version is just a little bit easier to play, and I did notice a significant difference in terms of my ability to hit and stuff like that. But even then, like I haven't really utilized my character that well. This mag, even though it's cool that it's a Dreamcast mag, it's not really designed for my character class. You know, it doesn't really have any hard attacks or anything like that. It's not going to evolve any further. It's just, it is what it is. But I would like to get it to 200 regardless, and then probably retire it and work on a mag that is a little bit more complementary to my character. I've also got a lot of different things in the bank that I could use to augment my existing mag collection as well, and I haven't really taken advantage of that just because, again, it all really comes down to time and the limits thereof with the amount of projects I have on the go. The next big project here in the house is I have a cabinet stereo, an old Zenith from 1972. I love that thing. I'd really like to fix it, but I think I have to replace all the caps. I definitely have to fix one resistor that blew, killed the power supply going to the record player, and because of that I have to plug my record player in separately. The old record player I took out. It was an old ceramic stylus record player. It wasn't good. You know, not all old technology is great. It looked cool, but it sounded like shit, so I replaced it with a new direct drive Sony record player instead, which sounds fantastic. It's just that it doesn't fit in the cabinet quite right. So I'm gonna have to cut it down, put it down at the bottom. Nice. Up through the top, put some springs on it to give it some shock absorption, and you know, kind of go from there. So that's the plan. It's a relatively big project, but I'd really like to get it out of the way because I haven't really been listening to records lately. It's been kind of bumming me out, and my kids are really into music lately, so I'd really like to get them into some stuff like you know, that I like. My 2.5-year-old really loves Sisters of Mercy, and you know, find that extremely cool. I saw Sisters of Mercy once about 10 years ago, actually 12 years ago. Wow. I think the last time they came to Toronto, to be honest. They haven't really toured that much. And you know, it was a good show. It was at the Phoenix nightclub here in Toronto. Remember I went to the full set. I completely forgot that they don't have a live drummer. If you see in their liner notes, they always credit somebody by the name of Dr. Avalanche as their drummer, and that is just a drum machine. He no longer plays. He hasn't played with for quite some time. The bass player is a female. I can't remember her name exactly, but she did the female voicings for a lot of the old Sisters of Mercy stuff, particularly off of the album Floodlands. But you know, for what I understand, there's a bit of hard feelings there for whatever reason, and she kind of wanted more credit for the songs, and what's his name there, the lead guy from Sisters of Mercy. Sorry, I wasn't expecting this conversation. But he basically said that he wrote all the songs. He gets the songwriter credit, didn't want to split that. Said that he wrote all the bass lines that she played, and basically she was just work for hire. And I think at some point they had some label issues as well, which is why they stopped producing albums, but then they would play new songs live. When I saw them, they played a couple of new songs live that I guess they only play live as well. Like, there's no actual studio recordings of these songs. And instead of having any female vocalists, they actually had just two dudes. One guy was on guitar, one guy was on bass. They had the drum machine. They had some samples and stuff playing in the background, and then they had the singer. What is the singer's name? I should know his name. It's, jeez. You'd think I've listened to that band enough, anyways. But anyways, good band indeed. Sisters of Mercy, Floodland. Listen to that album if you got a chance. Revisit it. You'll definitely recognize a few tracks off of it. I think you can go on YouTube, and Vimeo has probably got a couple of their music videos for like This Corrosion and probably Dominion, Mother Russia. I think they did a video for that, and Lucretia, which was another really good song. I always kind of chalk them up to like, sort of throw them in the same hat as bands like Bauhaus, and actually another band, Love and Rockets, which is former band members from Bauhaus that left and became Lug and Rock. PBA gonna get some dives. Be right back. Okay, cool. I actually saw Bauhaus, I can't remember, open for 9 Inch Nails about 10 years ago almost. It would have been, no, 9 years ago. It was on the Wave Goodbye tour for 9 Inch Nails, which is the last time I saw them. That was supposed to be the tour where they wrapped up. You know, Trent just basically closed down the band, and that was a great concert. I saw them probably, I think, 7 times before that. And the concert before their last show that I saw was great. It was at the Air Canada Centre here in Toronto, and it was just a really big show. Lots of lights, lasers, all this kind of crazy stuff. And then they opened for Jane's Addiction at the Molson Amphitheatre here in Toronto, and it was so stripped down. It was amazing. Essentially, it was just them playing during the day, no effects or nothing, just kind of like reminded me a lot of Woodstock 99, kind of how they played there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I hadn't seen them since, because all of their music since the slip has just been garbage. Yeah, not impressed at all. The new albums, I mean, the guy's a billionaire. What's he got to be sad about anymore? He's not struggling. He's not hungry for music. He's just putting it out because he can. I think the last stuff I liked from Trent Reznor was probably the first How to Destroy Angels album. That was pretty good for what it was. And then the Social Network soundtrack. But beyond that, all garbage. I had Hesitation Marks. I bought that on the double LP when that first came out, and I got the deluxe CD. Sold them both on eBay for $40. I hate that album. It's so bad. But I'm not an apologist for music or completist anymore. You know, I'm willing to say, okay, I've had enough of these guys. I'm moving on. You know, there's been quite a few bands that I've done that with. One guy in particular that I can think of off the top of my head is probably Devin Townsend of Strapping Young Lad. I was a huge Devin Townsend fan. And nah, you'll do fine. Huge Strapping Young Lad fan. And sometime in the early 2000s, he started to take care of his mental health, which is probably great for him, but not for his music. And everything started to sound like Weird Al Yankovic after that. It was terrible. So I started just selling stuff. I pre-ordered a lot of albums, and they were just terrible. And I just got rid of them. Just really overly polished, really kind of uninspired stuff, and I just couldn't get behind it. But that's okay. It's good to know when you've reached your limits with stuff like that. Okay, 115. Okay, cool. All right, let's just jump in here, and hopefully our other teammates will as well. Hey, Charles, how you doing? Ozark fan number 1. How do you feel about Ozark Season 2? I'm not impressed with it so far. I think I really liked Ozark Season 1 because it was a subtle, slow build. There's a lot of tension there. Ozark Season 2, I think they came out all guns swinging. Or they you know, Season 1 was great because it all led up to that one really shocking kill at the end of it. And then in Season 1, they kill a main character basically straight out of the gate, like straight out of the first episode. Just there's no tension. It didn't, you know, it was kind of shocking, but at the same time, it just, because there was no suspense, there's no real payoff to it. There was no sort of cat and mouse game going on. It's just like, okay, this guy's dead now. Yes, these people are bad people. We've got that from the first season. We understand that. I just get the impression that they wrote themselves into a hole a little bit. Kind of like Stranger Things, where Stranger Things first season was really interesting and sort of inspired. Like there's been a lot of that 80s nostalgia that's come out recently. But season 2 was just like, you know, more of the same, more of the old. And I felt like they really didn't know what to do with the series or the characters or the whole idea. And they sort of left it hanging in the same way that they left the first season. And I don't know, it just really didn't do a whole lot for me, unfortunately. Oh shit, I really wanted to check around and see if there's anything I could use. Now, I haven't finished Ozark Season 2, but so far I'm not really into it. It's still a good show, but not as great as I'd like it to be. Can't pick up the die grinder. Okay. Probably got a full inventory. Alright, while we're waiting, let's fill up our mag. Give items, diamate, yes please. Be nice to get it to at least level 20 today. Diamate. And we are out. Okay, so let's wait for the rest of the crew here. And while we are waiting, I am going to show you guys a couple of cool things. So, as y'all know, I've been really a big fan of the Atari Lynx lately, and I ended up getting quite a few games. So, this game right here, I'll just put to the side because I'll show you what else came with it. So, got a copy of Stun Runner, which is a very easy game to find. It's not expensive at all, but it's a great game for the Atari Lynx. Dracula, as I said before, another great game for the Lynx. And this little game here, which isn't a great game at all, but I mostly wanted it for the box art because I am a bit of an Elvira fan. You know, Cassandra Peterson, she is a big part of my upbringing, whether she knows it or not. So yeah, big fan of that. The game sucks though, don't even bother. And I also got this pin with it as well, which I guess were included in some games. So it's like a little enamel Atari Lynx pin, pretty nice looking, so that's kind of cool. So I'll keep that to the side here, and let's run and help our friends out before we get too far into it. This is where things get dicey. Even I potentially have a risk of getting injured in the dark levels. Now, what are we at internet time? Okay, so I think at 120 I can use my Heaven Punisher, which would be a lot of fun to use here because this is kind of where the Heaven Punisher makes the most sense. So you know what? Let's go to item pack, equip. Let's just use it just for fun. Okay, we also got that master beam too. Bum, bum, bum. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Hitting for anything? Yes, we are. And we can't quite use our Heaven Punisher yet, but we will be able to soon. I think at 120 internet time, that is where we are given permission to use it for whatever reason. But in the interim, I'm going to hold back. I may have to quick switch my weapon just to save some of my comrades here. What time do we got? 119. Okay, come on, hang in there, guys. Bang, bang, bang. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're still hitting for like 1,000, so there's really no risk of us getting into any trouble here. No deep water, that's for sure. Okay, what do we got for internet time? 119. Come on, big money. Now the aim on here is rather atrocious, but that's okay. Okay, yeah, we're still hitting for more than enough. Okay, come on. Bang, bang, bang. Internet time. Oh my goodness, the suspense is killing me. There we go. Stop that Chaos Bringer. Where is it? Okay, I think we've already stopped it. Okay, other way. Here we go. Item. Okay, 120. Let's feed our mag while we're here. I'm pretty sure we can use our Heaven Punisher now. Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure we can. Because I believe it's only on even times. Okay. Hopefully we will find out. No, we can't. Okay, so where can we use our Heaven Punisher? Is it only at 200? I can't remember. Okay, well, let's switch back because we don't want to leave our friends hanging here, especially when they get in the thick of it. And let's take out some of these bigger guys, or at least tag them so that our friends have a chance. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, cool, grinder. We can definitely use that on our Heaven Punisher. Did anybody get stuck there? No. Okay, so that guy took him out. Bang. Okay, let's just take these guys out just for fun. Okay, tag everybody here. Bingo, bango. Done and done. Okay, priest mind we do not need. Okay, let's swing around. Let's just take out the trash here and jump right into falls if we can. Boom, boom, boom. Done. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Don't want to hit out these lower enemies too much because I want to give my colleagues here a chance to tag. All right. And is that it? Nope, there's a couple guys coming from behind. And there's one more here. Okay, so one of us has to go up on that platform. So let it be me. And get that. Oh, sorry, that isn't the platform. That is the exit. Okay, come on, guys, let's go. And this is where things get really dicey. There's generally a whole ton of chaos bringers. And let's just sit back and tag if we can. Cool, more people are getting level ups. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to utilize our... Although, you know what I will do? I am going to use my Heaven Punisher, and I'm going to use one of the grinders that I picked up. So I'll use the power material, and I'll use the grinder. And do I have anything else? No, I do not. Okay, cool. Let's go back there, and we are done. Okay, get out of here. And let's get rid of these guys just to make everybody's life easier. 1,000 hit points. Yes, we've been working hard. A couple of level ups and oh cool, some evade material. See, the materials, they almost make this worth it. Always good to build up my stats here, and we lost so much when the games kept crashing in the last couple of times, so it's kind of nice to boost our stats up a little bit. Item, evade material. Yes, please. Okay, last guy. Bang, done. That it? No, of course it wouldn't be it. And let's just tag everybody, but I want to make sure my friends here have an opportunity to tag. I do not want to just take everything out, because to be honest, the amount of XP I'm going to be getting from this game isn't really why I'm doing it. It's mostly because I really want to help people out and get them a little bit higher in level. Okay, do I need that fire resist? Absolutely not, but a little bit of Masetta is always nice, and that guy's probably been tagged, so everything is probably good. Okay, gate is open. Here we go. Now, is this the exit? Oh, it is. Ready, everyone? Okay, things are about to get greasy. Okay, let's just feed our mag while we're here. Oh, we only have 2 Dimates left. That's okay. And we are done. Okay, so he's gonna go look for some more stuff. And while they're looking for more stuff, I might as well show off some more cool shite. So, What else have we been picking up recently? Well, today, while I was thrifting, I found this. I always pick these up when I find them. Old school heavy metal magazine. Even though this is from 2016, heavy metal is always kind of fun to have in the house. I always enjoy reading those offhandedly. I did manage to find one game out there. Nothing too fantastic, but it is the definitive collection of Descent 1 and 2. Now, I own both of these on GOG, but it's kind of nice to have a hard copy, just so I could throw it in my Descent 3 box. What else did we grab here? So this was kind of cool. Last time I was on, I showed you guys that I picked up a copy of Brain Scan on Blu-ray, another one of my favorite movies from the 90s, but after rewatching it, understanding why it never went anywhere. I'll get into that in a second, but I did love the soundtrack, so I ended up doing a trade with the guy, and I ended up getting the soundtrack, but he also threw in a couple of other cool things too. So he prints t-shirts for a living. So he made me some custom t-shirts for my favorite horror films. There's one for The Video Dead, pretty cool. One for Detro, another one of my favorite bad movies. And another one for probably one of my favorite horror movies of all time, The Gate. So he does some really, really good screen prints. And you guys might notice this shirt too that I got recently. It's an Akira print, and just some random guy on eBay was making them. So got that. That's pretty nice as well. But I got that in a trade for some DVDs that I don't watch anymore, and I was really happy to get this soundtrack back. I had it. I don't know what happened to it, but it's got some really cool music on it. Now this movie I might pop in actually after we're done gaming here, just because I got some things I have to do in the house, but I really wish they would release this proper, but unfortunately this is probably going to be the only high definition release we ever see, and that's for an old Ronald Emmerich film called Making Contact. I watched it many times as a kid, and unfortunately this is the edited 79-minute version on Blu-ray. There is no version of, I believe it's 94 minutes, which is the unedited version. But the reality is this is all we're ever going to get. So I picked it up in another trade. I haven't seen it in ages, but it'd be really nice to catch in high def. So beyond that, just found this multi-tool, and anything that says Swiss Army on it I pick up. I didn't realize it was so expensive. Now, whether it's just because of the resellers that sell it, I don't know, but I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm going to have it. It's called the Swiss Business Tool. Okay, so what does it do? Well, I had no idea, but I was like, oh, it's Swiss. It's going to be kind of neat, right? So what it is if you pull down these little levers on the side here, you'll see that it brings up these little sections here. So if you pull up this, you've got a pair of fairly decent little scissors, and you pull back the safety to bring those back down, bring it up again, and you've got like a little locked pocket knife. Yeah, that's always handy. And finally, you have this right here, which is a nail file and staple remover. Now, why would you need a staple remover? Well, because this thing, if you hit this button on the top, is actually a hole punch, and then if you hit another button here, drops it down, it's a stapler. Really fun little machine. I don't think I'll keep it in my backpack, but you know, it's kind of nice to have in the office anyway. And for $2, hey, why not? All right, guys, let's get serious here and back to gaming. All right, here we go. Let's get started. Falls is always fun. Okay, here we go. Time to get real. Now, I have a feeling we'll do quite well with Falls, so really the object here is going to be to support our other friends here in the game and make sure that they don't die. The game's level cap is level 200 actually. It's not 300. So version 1, the level cap is, I believe, level 100. Version 2, you get a level cap of 200. So always good to get version 2 if you're going to be playing PSO, especially online, because the reality is that not many people start PSO version 1 games. Most people only start PSO version 2 games. So always really a good idea to get that disc if you can. You know, it's getting harder to come by. It's going up in price. For whatever reason, you know, Dreamcast stuff has become more and more coveted over the last couple of years. And more and more people have realized how cool it is, including myself. You know, like I'm a late adopter as well. There's no denying it, but you know, it's just one of those things that there's a finite amount of these things available, and if you don't snatch them up when they're cheap, it's going to be harder and harder to get them. Now, there's really no shortage of versions of PSO. The NTSC versions, I've never seen any kind of shortage of that game. There's been a lot of people that I've seen selling, you know, unopened new copies for fairly cheap, you know, probably around $30 to $40 Canadian. So it's not the most impossible game to get, but it is getting more difficult. I would just suggest getting a USB GD-ROM or a GD-EMU. Right now you can get the GD-EMU on various different sites, Alibaba, you know, you can also get it on eBay and stuff like that. The pirated version, not the official version that, you know, requires the firmware update and everything like that. This is a version that's locked to 5.5, and you know, there's really no issues with 5.5 as far as we know. So there shouldn't be any issues with getting that GD EMU. But that said, you are kind of limited. So okay, let's bring back our friend here, and oh, we hit for 0. Damn, I think that means we're gonna get tag. Yes, we can. Okay, cool. Let's just run around in circles. And are we able to actually attack with... Boom! Okay, let's just make sure we got full life, even though I'm not overly worried about dying. Okay, bang, bang, bang. Okay, I didn't pick up anybody's weapon, did I? Damn. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, run around, draw fire, draw fire. Okay, and bring our friends back to life. Uh-oh. Shit! I did not anticipate that. Okay. Thank you, guys. And fuck you, Falls. Okay, gotta remember not to hit him when he's got his shields up like that. Otherwise, you are gonna get your spirit sucked out, and it's bad news. Okay, hopefully everybody had a chance to tag. That would be disappointing if everybody died and then nobody gets the XP. Well, I mean, I'll get the XP, but it'd be nice to see if everybody else did. Anyways, guys, we did it. We beat Falls. That's something. Well, that was a fun game. Res clear, return to city. Everybody get XP. Noble made off like a bandit, so that's good. I just really hope everybody had a chance to tag. Great. Okay, bang, bang, bang. Okay, not good to go. Let's tag these guys. And they're good to go. Oh, we're not tagging, we're just breaking boxes. And that's it. Okay, back to Pioneer we go. Cool. Well, I really like playing with those guys. It's nice to see that they're quickly advancing in levels too. No prob at all. Glad it helped. Okay, so first thing we got to do before we go back to Pioneer is we have to stock up on Dimates. Right, so in terms of house cleaning, 2 more days I have the option to apply for monetization for the channel again through YouTube. And I really hope they give it to me. I don't know why they demonetized my channel before, but I was really disappointed with that. It was kind of nice getting a little bit of extra income for playing video games, and I gotta be honest, like, it was just, it kind of, you know, it helped to put that money towards the channel too. Like, I bought a lot of new equipment for streaming and stuff like that, and a new computer, new things through like a new Elgato Stream Deck and new camera equipment and everything like that. Now, it's not the most popular channel in the world, but I like investing money into it to make sure it looks good. So item mag Dreamcast, give item Diemate, and give item Diemate, and give item Diemate. Okay, cool. And let's item, okay, equip. Let's equip our Heaven Punisher, thank you. Items, let's use our Mono Grinder, perfect. And equip our S-rank weapon. Okay, I think I'm out for tonight, but hopefully back Wednesday. All right, let's head back to Pioneer. Let's see who else is chilling out in good old Pioneer. Cool. Night. Remember to save in the lobby. All right. Let's talk. And how did we do? I think we got probably B rank. We'll be shocked if we got A. Although we didn't die that many times. Yeah, we got B. Okay, good enough. Guild counter. They're going to give me photon points I can't use because I'm sort of maxed out. Oh no, just 5,000 Meseta. Why not? Meseta is always good to have on hand. All right. Go over here and /save1. Save to the server. Night all. And okay, 268,000. Oh, long ways away from a new level up. Cool. Bang, and saving the game to memory card. The good thing about these VMUs is they never seem to die. They just last forever. And we are back. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That was Phantasy Star Online for tonight. I'm going to hop on Wednesday. We might play the regular scheduled game. We might just play something different. We might play Phantasy Star Online. At some point, I really would like to show you guys how to complete Dracula on the Atari Lynx, especially now with the VGA and everything looks so good. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It's about maybe about a 40-minute experience. But just to show you how convoluted that game is, and you might get a kick out of it. But it looks really nice too, especially through VGA. So that'd be kind of nice to show off. In the meantime, you know, if you haven't done so already, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Click the little bell. I'm gonna do my best to get back to some comments because I've been really lacking in that lately. Sorry, I've just been extremely busy on the back end, but I've been doing my best to hop on and play where I can. And yeah, that's about it. So in the meantime, guys, have a great night. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again very shortly. Take care.